You've seen him on screen as a superhero. Now actor, native Canadian Ryan Reynolds joins us to talk about what he's doing to save the world as a green human. Ryan, what's up?
Hello. Nice
All right.
to be here.
So when did you become an activist, dealing with the climate crisis? Was there a catalyzing moment or an event?
Yeah, for me, it was about 25 years ago. I was in 10th grade, and I joined an outdoor education program called Trek, which was offered at one of the local schools in Vancouver, where I grew up. In this program, you do an accelerated curriculum, so you basically do a year's worth of school in about 3 months, and the rest of the year you spend outdoors learning survival techniques, and then sort of learning about our resources and how we can sort of better serve our environment. A lot of it focused on the environment, and that for me was like a huge eye-opener. It actually changed my life from that point forward. I led a very different lifestyle than that of my parents.
So speaking of the great outdoors, you're now the philanthropic ambassador for Eddie Bauer's partnership with American Forests.
Yeah.
And that's a conservation organization dedicated to reforestation in threatened ecosystems.
Yeah.
So now, tell us what that partnership means. Tell us why it's important for you to be a part of it.
Well, American Forests is a great organization. They've been around 140 years. They've planted over 50 million trees. Their goal is to plant 2.6 million trees in 2016 alone. So they're incredible. But growing up, a lot of the kids at my school, I grew up in this sort of the clear-cut era where people started to get hip to this idea that here's what's going on in the forests in British Columbia. I mean, we have this incredibly diverse ecosystem in British Columbia that is so precious and so beautiful. You drive down the street, down a country road or in the mountains, and you would basically see beautiful forests on either side of you. But if you go just beyond that, you're going to see clear cuts. And a lot of the kids that I grew up with were tree planting in the summer. That was a way that they would have a summer job, but they would also sort of give back, and it was a kind of a cool program. So American Forest is sort of like the grown-up version of that. It's like the big boy club of that. So what they do throughout the United States and actually in over 50 countries across the world is incredible. What they do for biodiversity and for reforestation is just a beautiful thing. So
now I know sustainability is a big part of your activist efforts. What do you do at home? How do you maintain that in your personal life?
Well, I'm a big fan of solar technology. For me, that's sort of everything. I'm excited to see solar technology take off in a way. I mean, look, the United States and Canada, who we're here to talk about as well. These are our countries that, to some degree, some more than others, worship money. And I think that solar technology and a lot of sustainable technologies are things that we need to inject, like heroin, right into the capitalist mainstream. And I could see these companies and these technologies becoming multi-billion-dollar companies. They already are, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So for me, I've solarized my home. I drive an electric car. I mean, these are just the little things that I do, but I also recognize that, the prices for these sorts of things are falling dramatically, and I'd love to see that because I'm in a position where I can afford to do this sort of thing. Not everyone is. And as we see these prices going down, I think it's important to create infrastructure and to create systems in which people can afford this. Not just in ways that they're incentivized to get a tax break or something like that, but it's just absolutely affordable to everyone across the country.
Right, to make it part of their daily lives. Exactly.
100%, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Addressing the climate crisis can be daunting for a lot of folks. And, how do you think we can educate people about the issues and keep them encouraged that there is actually a solution possible?
Yeah, I think there's an incredible amount of resources out there that we can get involved with. I mean, Climate Reality Project is one that's done, becoming a climate leader is a huge thing that somebody can do. I mean, just going to the website and getting the action pack basically is something that you can do, and that's what that pack does is important. Actually, it's what every one of us as we sit here, and especially in these transitioning times in our politics in the United States, you might feel some anxiety and some concern over the environment and how that's going to be protected in the future because it's not looking great right now. And this action pack is something you can get, and you can say inside that's going to have, this is the person you write to, this is the person you email, this is the person you call, this is how you do it, this is where you can meet to get more information. This is so that's the kind of thing that I think is going to really sort of spread like a wildfire.
Nice. Now we see that your hometown Vancouver is doing some things right.
Amazing things, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think though is the biggest threat to Canada right now in terms of environment?
I think a lot of it's the same as it is here. I mean, we're seeing these huge wildfires. I mean, the Fort McMurray wildfire was such an eye-opener for me. I mean, watching the devastation that happened in that beautiful town and the people, those hardworking people fleeing from their town, and seeing, that was horrendous. And I think we're seeing the permafrost go away. We're seeing the snowpacks melt. We're seeing the same sort of droughts that are happening in the United States. So I'm encouraged though. I watched guys like I met Mayor Gregor Robertson in Vancouver, and I know he's a huge proponent for the environment, and seeing that Vancouver is committing to becoming 100% sustainable in terms of their energy, how they garner their energy in the near future. That's just amazing to me. So.
Well, you're a dad.
Yeah.
Are you hopeful for the future?
Yeah, you have to be. I mean, you absolutely have to be, especially, and I think that's what draws people from rest to effort. I mean, I have 2 young kids, both under 2. And I want them to experience the same things that I got to experience when I was a kid.
Right.
I want them to be able to walk out in the wilderness and enjoy everything that we live in the United States, and there are some of the most beautiful national parks that I've ever seen anywhere. And I want them to enjoy that in the same way that I've been able to enjoy that when I first moved to this country. So, I am hopeful. I'm seeing that change. I'm seeing being here is a way of being hopeful as well. So,
Indeed. Now, movies have a pretty big carbon footprint of their own. They can be a pretty
huge,
big strain on the environment. How have you found that Hollywood is adapting, if at all, to becoming more green?
Hollywood is adapting incredibly slowly. Budgets on films are sort of scheduled down to the line. Everything is every dollar is going to something very specific. So but I think they could do a lot more, and I hope to be an agent of change in that in the near future. I mean, I also work as a producer, so. I have some say in how we conduct ourselves on the set. You could do little things. Obviously, there's a lot going on the film sets where bottled water is just sort of banned. I mean, these are sort of small, kind of topical things, but I think there's a larger way to look in the future. These trucks, the heavy trucks, the generators that are running 24/7 when you're on a film set, it's a massive footprint, and it's something that needs to change. So,
Indeed. Now, you've also been very active raising awareness about the climate crisis and encouraging people to get involved via social media. Now, can we still use Facebook and Twitter to advance the issue, especially with all this sort of the lies that are, pervaded on it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a crap ton of the fake news out there, which is a little bit concerning. But it's I think it's sort of like anything. We follow the people that we trust and follow the people whose opinions that matter to us. I mean, I know I look at my timeline and I see things that I care about and issues that I care about being ideas being exchanged there. So absolutely, I think the more you pump it out on social media, the better. Especially right now in this time, it's a really, really critical time. We're at a place in that we're going to look back in history and we didn't see whether we did the right thing or the wrong thing. And I think it's important to make your voice as loud as possible right now.
Speaking of the people who might be on the wrong side of history when it's all over with, how do you deal with climate change deniers? How do you engage in that conversation?
I don't, what do you say to a? I mean, I mean, scientists all over the world have basically proven that this is the case, and this is our climate is changing for these specific reasons. And when somebody denies climate change, I really don't know what to say except that they're dead to me.
Well, on that note, Ryan Reynolds, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.